Earlier this week, Chicago Blackhawks 2023 third-round draft pick Nick Lardis did something special, becoming just the 8th player in OHL history to score 70 goals in a single season and becoming the first to do so since John Tavares in 2007. Lardis leads the OHL goal-scoring race this season by a pretty wide margin. No other player has even reached 60. In second place is top prospect for the 2025 NHL draft Michael Misa with 58. This incredible season in the OHL by Nick Lardis has led to a lot of people labeling him as a draft steal already, despite the fact that he has yet to play in a single NHL game. There's no doubt it's definitely looking like Chicago got fantastic value selecting him 67th overall in 2023. And this all kind of got me thinking, who are some other recent NHL draft picks that are already looking like steals? So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Since Nick Lardis was the inspiration for this video, my criteria is going to be based off of him. So each prospect on my list cannot have played an NHL game yet. They had to have been drafted in either 2023 or 2024, and they had to have been selected outside of the first 2 rounds, so 3rd round and beyond. Let's start things off with Ilya Protas, who was selected in the 3rd round, 75th overall by the Washington Capitals in 2024. Yes, he is the younger brother of Washington Capitals forward Alexei Protas, who has been one of the biggest breakout stars in the NHL this season. I think at this point it's safe to say the Washington Capitals got a massive steal selecting Alexei Protas in the 3rd round in 2019, and it's looking like lightning may have struck twice for the Washington Capitals with his younger brother Ilya. After scoring just 14 goals in 61 games in the USHL in his NHL draft year, Ilya Protas was selected 3rd overall in the 2024 CHL import draft by the Windsor Spitfires, and he has had a monster season for them. He's already the highest scoring import player in Windsor Spitfires franchise history with 46 goals and 112 points in 58 games, which puts him 4th in the entire OHL in scoring. Protas and Liam Greentree have been one of the better duos, not just in the OHL this season, but in the entire CHL. Like his older brother, Ilya Protas is a massive dude. He's already got an NHL frame at just 18 years old. He's 6'5". The idea of Ilya and Alexei Protas playing together on the same line in the NHL has to be very exciting for Capitals fans, and I don't think it's too far-fetched to believe that we will see that happen at some point in the future. Ilya Protas looks like a stud. Moving on now to the next prospect on my list, we have Aiden Fink, who is the latest draft pick of all the players we're going to talk about in this video. Aiden Fink wasn't selected until the 7th round, 218th overall in 2023 by the Nashville Predators. He's very undersized, but that hasn't stopped Aiden Fink from turning heads in the NCAA over the last few seasons, despite not playing on one of the top powerhouse schools like Boston College, Minnesota, Michigan, Michigan State, or Denver. Last season as a freshman, Aiden Fink led Penn State with 15 goals and 34 points in 34 games, but this season he took his production to a whole other level. He once again led Penn State with 23 goals and 51 points in 36 games, but not only did he lead Penn State, he actually led all of college hockey. He's now been a Hobey Baker nominee in both seasons he's played collegiate hockey. Last year, he had no real chance at winning it, but this year, although I don't think he will win in the end, he is at least a serious candidate. The majority of 7th round draft picks don't even end up playing a single game in the NHL, and yes, Aiden Fink still has a long way to go before he gets there, but at the very least, I think it's safe to say Nashville has to be pretty pleased with how he's progressed since they selected him in the 7th round in 2023. Moving on now to the next prospect on my list, the one and only goaltender we're going to talk about in this video, Jacob Fowler, who was selected in the 3rd round, 69th overall by the Montreal Canadiens in 2023. There were 5 other goaltenders taken ahead of Jacob Fowler in the 2023 NHL draft, and yet after a few seasons dominating for Boston College, Jacob Fowler has already solidified himself as one of the best NHL-affiliated goalie prospects in the world. The only other goaltender who was selected ahead of him in 2023 that I think is in the same conversation as him for being one of the best goalie prospects in the world is Trey Augustine. Last season as a freshman for Boston College, Jacob Fowler was named to the first All-American, All-Rookie, All-Tournament, and first All-Star teams. He also won a gold medal with Team USA in the 2024 World Juniors. Overall, just an incredible freshman season for Boston College and a fantastic first year after being drafted in the 3rd round by the Canadians. But this season, he took it to another level, and his numbers in the NCAA were video game-like. 24-5-2, a sub 2 goals against average, and a .941 save percentage. Between Fowler and Dobish, I think it's safe to say the Montreal Canadiens goaltending situation is in a very good spot moving forward. Moving on now to the next prospect, we have defenseman Henry Muse, who was selected in the 3rd round, 74th overall by the Calgary Flames in the 2024 draft, just one pick before Ilya Protas, who we talked about earlier in the video. Henry Muse's offensive output in the OHL has exploded this season after finishing under a point per game last season with the Ottawa 67s with 61 in 65 games, which is still very good for a defenseman, don't get me wrong, but this season he's already up to 80 points in just 63 games, which puts him 3rd in the entire OHL in scoring by a defenseman behind Sam Dickinson and Zane Parekh. That's obviously some pretty impressive company, as both Zane Parekh and Sam Dickinson were lottery picks in the 2024 draft. Obviously, Zane Parekh, like Henry Muse, was a Calgary Flames draft pick, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if a few years from now, both of the Calgary Flames power play units are ran by these guys. Now that CHL players will be eligible to play in the NCAA starting next season, Henry Muse is expected to join the University of Michigan, which should be great for his development. I don't think another year dominating the OHL would have really benefited him. We already know what he's capable of offensively. Making this transition to the NCAA, where it's going to be tougher competition, should really challenge the defensive side of his game. The University of Michigan is obviously a great school and has produced a ton of NHL players, so I really like this move for Henry Muse, and it's a path that I think a lot of other prospects are going to take. This move allowing CHL players to be eligible to play in the NCAA was really long overdue. Moving on now to the next prospect on my list, we have Jesse Kiskinen, who was selected in the 3rd round, 68th overall by the Nashville Predators in 2023, but was later traded to the Red Wings for Andrew Gibson. So the 3rd round from 2023 is already looking pretty good, as Jesse Kiskinen was selected just one pick after Nick Lardis and one pick before Jacob Fowler, two players who we already talked about in this video. After finishing with just 4 goals in 36 games in the Liga last season, this season Jesse Kiskinen really took a major leap and broke out in the Liga, finishing with 14 goals and 44 points in 46 games, leading HBK in scoring as a teenager. He was also a beast for Finland in the World Juniors this year, finishing with 6 goals in 7 games. For somebody who was really just a throw-in in the Andrew Gibson trade, the main piece the Red Wings got in return, or at least we thought at the time, was the 2nd round draft pick from Nashville. It's pretty impressive how quickly he's been able to rocket up the Red Wings prospect rankings. He's been great all year. And now finally, finishing up the video with the last prospect on my list, we have Wojtek Hradec, who was selected in the 6th round, 167th overall by Utah in the 2024 draft. Hradec really caught my attention in the World Juniors this year. I thought he had a fantastic showing. He was one of Czechia's most important players en route to them winning a bronze medal. He also finished this season with 12 points in 37 games, playing in the top professional league in Czechia, which isn't anything crazy, but it's solid production in that league for a teenager. He's a big center who moves well for his size. I feel like the potential is there for him to become an effective two-way bottom 6 center in the NHL, and similar to what I said about Aiden Fink earlier in the video, players that are selected this late in the NHL draft usually don't even end up playing a single game in the NHL, so while he may not have the potential to be a top of the lineup game-breaking kind of player, but even if he's able to carve himself out a role as an effective two-way bottom 6 center, and like I said, I think he has the potential to be that kind of player, Utah would likely be very happy with that outcome. So that is going to wrap up today's video, going over some recent NHL draft picks that are already looking like steals. As always, I want to know what you guys are thinking, so if there's any prospects that you feel like I missed or would have made your list, be sure to let me know who those prospects are and why down below in the comments. If you made it all this way to the end of the video and you ended up enjoying yourself, please remember to leave a like. It's the best way to let me know that you enjoyed, and it does help out the videos a ton. And most importantly, if this was your first time checking out the channel and you want more NHL content just like this all year round, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you all again soon.